Hello and welcome to Childminding and Beyond with me, Beth.
Me, Sam.
And me, Sarah.
Tonight we're talking all about cooking, what we do in our settings in regards to cooking with the children and how that extends their learning, including all of their interests and next steps. So, Sam, what do you do with yours? I know you do quite a lot on a Friday, don't you, in regards to cooking?
We do. We tend to do Hooga Friday, which is generated from when we did our Hooga in the early years accreditation back in 2020. I think it was 2020. And it was just taking the Danish approach, really, and baking in the morning and coming together in the afternoon to reflect on the week together and enjoy our bakes. So basically, we do bakes on a Friday. We have tried it on different days, but we tend to just be out and about most of the week. Friday we have to be in because we have children going home at different times, so baking just works well. And like I say, it's just at the end of the week. Sometimes we'll do a vote. So we might have a clipboard with two pictures, I don't know, maybe jammy snails, pizza snails, and they can come in and they can vote which one they want, which works quite well to incorporate making marks for their name, writing names, counting how many the vote, comparing. So there's a lot of maths and literacy just in that particular learning of that opportunity. We will always bake for the children to eat, so it might be they might do lunch for that day, so they might do pizza wheels, mini quiches, cheese straws for snack. They might do cakes, biscuit, something that will be themed accordingly, like Beth said, with the interests of the children. So our children are still into snails, so a little while ago we did either pizza snails, jammy snails, so that's what they got to vote. We might build it into celebrations, so we've done Diwali sweets before, we've done Chinese snacks, we've done things that coincide with Ramadan. So it might be hot cross buns because it's Easter, might be little Christmas cakes because it's Christmas. So we'll build it in either interest or celebration. So the way that it works in our setting is in the morning we'll get all the ingredients together. Some will sit down and they'll be shopkeepers, so they'll look after all the ingredients. The others will be at the other table and they'll have a clipboard with the recipe on, and they'll have all the equipment there, like the bowls, spoons, that kind of thing. And they'll ask the shopkeeper, checking off the ingredients list. Do we have a lemon? Do we have 2 eggs? Do we have flour? So it just gives them different, new vocabulary, gives them each little responsibilities, and then we'll take it in turns to weigh out we'll go through the method, we'll weigh out the ingredients, pop them in the bowl. We'll all take turns of looking at the numbers on the scales, pouring it in, mixing it up. We tend to do like a real showcasing our baking on Instagram as well. But the children, they crack the eggs. Yes, they'll be on the floor. Yes, there'll be shell in the bowl, but that's the only way they're going to learn, isn't it? By doing it hands on. They'll help clean up. Yes, it is messy. I know a lot of adults don't like baking with children because of the mess, but to me it's only mess. It doesn't matter. They'll clear up. They'll go get a cheeky wipe each and they'll all work together. And then in the afternoon if it's like a lunch bake, we'll have it for our lunch. If it's like biscuits or cake or something, then we'll have that in the afternoon, maybe with a cup of tea or a hot chocolate or some warm milk. And we'll just talk about our day or our week together and our adventures and what's been the highlights, what's been, what they haven't enjoyed so much, just as like a reflection. Sometimes if we've got extra bakes, we'll go and deliver them to the elderly neighbours to share with them, which they love. The little ones like knocking on the door. They know them all by name because we've done it for so long. And yeah, they'll give them some bakes, and it's just sharing, isn't it? Sharing, kindness, talking to other adults, being confident in that. But yeah, we do love baking. And we've changed it slightly because obviously the new nutrition guidance coming in. So we've done a lot of. I've done a couple of sugar-free bakes this week, like blueberry muffins and banana and raisin bread without sugar, and they haven't noticed a difference. So we'll probably do a few more healthier bakes instead. So we popped like honey or banana in to sweeten it up rather than the sugar. But yeah, they love it. We'll use like proper cups and saucers as well, little ones that we probably get from the charity shops. It doesn't matter if they get chipped, and they'll wash up their own dishes as well. So yeah, they have proper porcelain cutlery, porcelain dishes as well.
Yeah, that's one thing actually that I would like to swap to is porcelain cups and bowls and stuff. We've
We do only do it for our baking, because I think you probably go through a lot if it was, if it was an everyday thing. I mean, obviously, if we go out sometimes to the cafe and we have hot chocolate or a warm milk, they will have china cups there as well, because it's the only way they're going to learn. But yeah, we do tend to only have it for our Hooger bake 'cause it's a special treat.
Yeah, no, that's nice. There's a few points in there actually that you said, Sam, that I never even thought about that links that have really good learning opportunities that I would never have thought that would link to baking. So when you said you get them to vote for what they want to do, which links really nicely to British values, and is it
Yes,
democracy?
it does with democracy. So it
Um,
gives it's a child voice as well, isn't it? So it's a bit
yeah,
like similar to the story vote, and I'll have a couple of choices knowing that I've got those, got those
yeah,
ingredients in, and yeah, they'll come in and they'll write their name under what they decide to vote, they want to bake.
yeah. No, I like that idea. And what was the other one that you said? Oh, when you go and deliver it to your neighbours, if you've got
Yeah.
extras, I really like that's a really nice idea. Again, something I've not really thought of. Um, we don't really do a massive amount of baking. We do it every now and then, but we ours are mainly under twos, and even just making really basic things, they get bored.
See, a few people would ask me about that, and some of our like one year olds, 18 months, 20 months old, will wander off and come back, and that's
Yeah,
okay. If we do baking and it's a day where we've just got 2 year olds, then we'll do something very quick, like cheese straws is a really good one. Just roll out puff pastry. You don't even have to grate the cheese. You can have it pre-grated. So they basically just put the cheese on, roll it up, job done. So it's going back to those really really easy, easy bakes.
yeah,
Making your own sandwich, maybe just going to like snacks instead of the baking, so they cut up their own bananas, they spread their own toast, make their own sandwich, that kind of thing. So then that builds up the time and the interest that they've got in that.
yeah. I think even just like you said, buttering their own toast. Um, I always think baking's really complex.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be. Sometimes, I mean, we have done things like hot cross buns, Swiss rolls with them before, and sneakily I've thought, wow, if it goes wrong, I'll just blame the kids. It will be fine. I didn't bake it. The kids made it, but they turned out really, really well. So it was like a learning. It was like a learning opportunity for us, as well as as well as the children. But they love it because it just gives them so much confidence. They've made that. If there's some leftovers, they might, we'll have a plate at the front door and they'll be like, oh, Dad, Mum, do you want a cake? I made it. So it's just, we find a lot of children will eat things if they've made it or they've been involved in it as well.
Yeah,
So it really helps with like the fussy eaters and things like that as well.
yeah. No, I like the few of those ideas. Sarah, do you get up to much baking?
So we do a lot of bacon here. It's not like Sam does hers on a Friday. I don't do that here. It's not sort of stuck to a day. So it's just sort of whenever I plan it in. I do try and plan in baking at least sort of a couple of times a month though. I do have, because I've got such a mix of ages at the moment, I've got little ones who are just turned one, right up to like my 4-year-olds who are going to be going to school in September. And my little ones do the same with Sam's. They wander off and they'll come back. But my older ones will kind of keep the activity going. And especially if it's a really nice, simple recipe, I do try and keep it as simple as possible. So if it's a nice simple recipe, I can kind of let them take the lead. Again,
Mm.
they crack their own eggs. I will say, oh right, okay, so now we need X, Y, Z, and I'll read off the recipe of, oh, we need 2 eggs. Who's going to crack those for me? And it's just a matter of letting those children prove that they are capable of doing that, and showing themselves that they're capable of doing that as well, because not always do they get the opportunity to crack eggs and scoop out cups of flour and things at home. I think a lot of the like the box mixers are used at home, sort of for quickness and for easiness, which is fine. But it's nice to be able to make something from scratch, and for them to realise that actually they can do those things, like cracking the eggs and weighing out however much flour that we need. So yeah, I do keep it nice and simple. The old ones like to take the lead. The younger ones will kind of come and go as they please. They always come back for the mixing. Doesn't matter what we've made, they will always come back and they will always want to mix.
Yeah.
And you know, the vocabulary that comes from baking and the mathematical language is just incredible, because you know, you're using language that not you wouldn't necessarily use in a different activity. You know, how much can we weigh out, and how many grams is this? And you know, and then they go, oh, so what you know, what is grams? So how do we know how heavy it is? Is this one heavier? Is this one heavier? You know, and there's just so much that links with baking. Like Sam touched on so many different areas of learning just through one activity of baking. And it's true, it just, everything is linked.
I tell you what I quite like as well is because they're doing it regularly and they're using that vocab, like you say, grams and that. I will hear them in the mud kitchen in the garden, you know, baking. Right, we need 500 grams, or we need 2 grams, we need 3 eggs. You know, they'll use that vocab that you have provided them with in their role play outside when they're, you know, when they're making coffees, when they're making, you know, when they're making mud soup or whatever. So they are then using it in the correct context, which is, you know, which I really like, because like you say, you're, you know, you are doing that quite often, and you know they've then got that vocab in there, you know, that they're using.
Yeah. I had a little one actually who was sieving the sand in the garden the other week, and they were sieving it and saying that it was the icing sugar to go on top of the cake. And that's not something that we've done for a few weeks. It's, you know, that was a good few weeks ago, but it had stuck. And yeah, just in their conversation with another child, oh well, I'm just sieving the icing sugar onto the cake.
Exactly, and it's just so rich, isn't it? But there is so much for baking. You could probably hit every single, you know, area of learning. You've got what have you got? You've got physical development, so you've got, you know, the scooping, the stirring, the mixing. You've got CL, so communication language. You've got all that new language that you're giving them. You're also giving them simple instructions as well. So can you go and find the eggs? Can you find the flour? I wonder who can mix the, you know, mix the bowl. So they're listening to all those instructions.
And the sequencing as well, following a sequence and a routine.
Yeah, exactly. You've got literacy. So, you know, they are looking at the print on the recipe.
Yeah.
The older ones are spotting the, you know, the letters that they know, being able to sound out the CVC, like egg, you know, so you've got that. Logos as well, because a lot of them will know what's in, you know, different bags, won't they? Knowing of the logo. Oh, that's the butter, that's the flour. What else have we got? We've got
Understanding of the world.
understanding of the world. Now we have started. I've got a scrapbook. I've got a floor book in the playroom about exploring different countries, and we'll try to do a bake from a different country. So obviously Chinese New Year. You've got we've done pizza before, Italy. We've linked, you know, we've done things for Australia before. You know, you're linking it to different. We've done Ireland. We've done soda bread. We're linking it to different countries, and that's really, I really like that as well, because you get to try different things. You can then say, you know, people that live in this country, that's what they tend to eat. and you can like, you know, we've done Indian sweets before, and you can point them on the map, so that links in with that, as well as you know, changes
Knowing
the
where the food has come from. So
yeah,
maybe
exactly.
the eggs have come from chickens, and the flour comes from like it has to go through a flour mill, and grown in a field. Blah 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 blah. So yeah, knowing where the food comes from.
Yeah. Otherwise, how do they know? How do they learn that that's where it comes from? You know, you
I
ask.
think everyone just thinks it comes. Well, not everyone. A lot of children think, "Oh, I'll just get it from the supermarket."
Yep.
It comes from the shops, but
Yeah.
where does it come from before the shop?
Yeah, so it just gives you that opportunity, doesn't it, to talk about that.
Yeah.
And ours are very good at where obviously the eggs, they'll just go down and get it from, you know, get them from the chickens. They, you know, we'll quite often have the conversation if they've got sausage and mash for dinner. They'll be like, "Well, I'm eating a pig," and one of the children will be like, they're like, "Yeah, it's from," you know, it's just knowing, isn't it, where your food comes from on your plate, which like you said, I think it's just really, really important.
Yep, definitely. That's actually what turned my youngest son vegetarian, was
Oh
because
my
he was
God.
mortified that he was eating a chicken. When we had chickens, and we kept chickens here, and he was tucking into his dinner, and he was like, "Yeah, it's not a real chicken that I'm eating, is it?" And I was like, "No, it is. That is made from a chicken." And he was like, "I can't eat it." And that was what turned him vegetarian, because the realization that he was actually eating the chicken that was in the garden. Um, but yeah, otherwise they don't make those links. And you know, he made
They
a link. I think he was about 3 or 4, and he was like, "I can't eat it." You know, and that's his choice at that age. I didn't make him vegetarian. He chose that through knowing where his food came from.
but it's just giving them that information, they can make their own informed choice, isn't it? And then you've got maths, where there's so much maths in there, isn't there? Recognizing number, um,
Volume, weight,
volume, yeah,
capacity,
more and less. Or you've got too much, take some away. It's just, you know, mathematically rich.
Knowing how to
So I think
read scales.
exactly. And you've got the grams, you've got the weight measuring, you know, comparing, you know, which egg is bigger, which, you know, which bowl has got more things in, you know, just the scooping into like the cake cases and things like that. I think the only one we haven't covered is EAD, which, you know, I'm sure.
I mean, you think of decorating cakes. They choose. You can give them all exactly the same, whether it's
Yeah,
icing and sprinkles. They'll all be completely different because
they
that's
will.
self-expression, and you know, and they'll do it their own way. Um, and
And also, yeah,
oh,
no, go, no,
I
you go.
um, PSED as well, because the confidence
Yeah,
and the independence of, well, I made that, you know,
yeah.
and oh, I can't crack that egg. Yes, you can. Give it a go, you know, and then they manage it, and a bit of shell falls in. Oh, but it's okay because we can scoop it out. But it's having that confidence to do it, and you know, they have to learn patience and
I was going to say turn taking as well. You know, is it my turn yet? Yes. Or in a minute, we're doing the flour first.
yep,
You know, when the eggs don't come a bit later, so wait for your turn.
yep,
So yeah, and it's just teamwork, isn't it?
yep. Teamwork, definitely. Teamwork and sharing and turn taking. It's yeah.
But going back to EAD, quite often, sometimes mine will make up a little song as they're mixing, or or based on their bake and that. So you know, it's making up songs as well, which is, I think that hits every single part of the curriculum.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Maybe I should give baking more of a go.
No, definitely.
Beth.
Even the younger ones will get something from it, definitely.
We've made sausage rolls before. That's a really, really easy one. So, you know, just have ready roll pastry, sausage meat, roll it up, cut it up. That it probably takes 5 minutes. We've done strawberry milkshake before. That's still baking, you know, that's still making something to eat.
Yeah,
Uh,
smoothies, that type of thing.
yeah, we're going to actually do strawberry milkshake and pick your own next week for Strawberry Moon.
Strawberry moon, what's that?
Full moon. Each full moon each month has got a name, and the one next week in June is Strawberry Moon, because that's when the most of the strawberries are out. So we're going to go to a pick your own, pick some strawberries, we'll eat quite a few along the way, come back and we'll make our own milkshake.
Lovely.
Hmm.
We've
Didn't
got
know
lots
that.
of white strawberries on our
We have in the garden.
moment, so I'm hoping that this won't be too long before they turn.
But that links as well, doesn't it? So obviously growing, growing your own veg and food to go into your baking. And also the other thing I was going to say is sometimes we've been to the supermarket, depends what children you've got and how many you've got, but we've been to the supermarket before to buy our ingredients to come back and make something. So that's a whole nother learning, learning ball game as well, isn't it? So
I really like to take mine to the shop so that they can choose. And we'll talk about what we're going to make and okay, so what do we need, and we'll go round and find out all the ingredients, and it's how much is this and how much is that, and it's a really nice experience for them all.
it is. If you've got older ones that can write, you've got the shopping list.
Yep.
Sometimes we've made visual shopping lists, like on a clipboard, so they can see, oh, banana, I need bananas, so they'll go and find it. And then you've got that whole, speaking to other people, haven't you, as well? So yeah, well, it's just speaking to the people at the till, speaking to people as you walk around the shop, because people will comment, oh, hi guys, what are you looking for? So it's just talking to them as well.
Yeah, no, it's a really good activity that just links into every area possible.
It is, but so baking hasn't got to be daunting. Baking could be really, really simple, like a 5-minute smoothie, banana milkshake, making your own snack, jam sandwich, sausage rolls, right up to, like I said, we've done hot cross buns, Swiss rolls, that kind of thing. So give it a go.
I mean, we did. We took our guys to one of the local fruit markets, and they all chose a different punnet of fruit, and we came home and made fruit kebabs, and that was a really, really lovely activity. Even our little ones, I think, trying to think how young our little ones were. They were probably just over a year, and even they were managing to push the blueberries and the raspberries onto the kebab sticks. They did incredible.
And that will link really well again with Hungry Caterpillar, because obviously caterpillars, butterflies, and that will come up soon. So that's a really lovely activity for that as well. So you can link it in with Bookish Plays. We've done Hand of Surprise before, so we've tried the fruit and that and peeled it, chopped it up from the story. Hungry Caterpillar's a really good one as well. Oliver's Milkshake is one of my favourite books from years and years ago. That's a really lovely one, so we'll probably take that one next week. But yes, you could link it to Bookish Plays as well.
Yeah, and I suppose we've just got to be a little bit more cautious now moving forward with the new nutrition guidance that's coming into force.
Yeah, there's no more brownies, there's no more cakes. It's all gotta be healthy.
See, I have actually baked this week sugar-free blueberry muffins and sugar-free banana and raisin bread, and they've gone down a storm. We've done banana and raisin bread alongside cereal and fruit for breakfast, and we've done blueberry muffins for pudding with custard or sugar-free jelly after main meal in the evening, and the children haven't batted an eyelid. They've eaten them. So, there are lots of different healthy options that you could make, isn't there? So, but that will be on another podcast, people.
Yes.
But yeah, so baking.
Right.
Well, you've inspired me.
Good.
I'll get me pinny out.
Have you got one of those tabard things?
Can't wait.
No, but maybe I should get an apron for when we bake.
Yeah. I think you should.
Chef's hat.
Yeah.
I look forward to that. So guys, let us know, what do you bake? What's your favourite bakes? If you don't usually bake and you go and give it a try, give us a tag on the Childminder Voice. We'd love to know what what you bake and get up to, so we can share. But yeah, comment below with your favourite bake, because we're always looking out for new bakes. Beth needs to look out for some bakes. And
when I say we lightly. Shall we share some easy bakes on Childminder's Voice?
Yes. Yep, I've got a few on my Instagram which I've put up previously, so I will. I'll ping them over to Sarah to share. So yeah,
that'd be great. Thanks, I can steal them.
Definitely. Well, one of mine that I done it was quite a while ago now, is a no bake flapjack. and that's a really easy one.
So on my menu, it is a flapjack. I've tried so many times to make this bloody flapjack, and it doesn't work.
Okay, no bake flapjack. I've got it on my recipe is on my grid. I will send it and I will share it on Childminder Voice because it is so easy and so simple, and the kids love it, and it turns out brilliantly.
And you can pop some fruit and bits in there, so it's a healthy bake.
Yep, we
You
added.
can only have raisins if it's part of a meal now.
Oh, we had raisins in ours.
There you go. Right, guys, thanks for listening. Go and grab your apron and your hat and get baking. If you bake already, then share with us, your favorite bakes, so we can, we can share, and Beth can have some inspiration. But otherwise, thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon. So it's bye from me.
And bye from me.
See you
Ciao,
later.
ciao.